they'll lynch you. But he did, and he laughs at
You are different. You're a different kind of fish.
Hi everybody, Russ of the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well, my friends. A change of venue today. Change of venue. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it one of those bloody good subscribes, why don't you? Happy Monday, the weekend's gone. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Yesterday, shame there wasn't too many treats for us at Old Trafford. More like tricks played against us, unfortunately, with a 1-0 defeat at Old Trafford. We'll get round to that. We're going to talk about the ratings, the players' ratings, as I always do the day after the night before. Get your comments, get your thoughts. You'll all disagree with what I say anyway, because that's what usually happens, and all that jazz. Toby's in the chat. Nice to see you, Toby. Helen's in. Sam, hope you're well. Jan, hope you're well. Hope everyone is well. Obviously, another big week. West Ham coming up Thursday. Obviously, we've got Thursday coming up. FCSB in a sort of dead rubber game. In all honesty, we'll be putting up the community tab. Who do you think is going to play? Be really interested to get your thoughts on that, because I think there's going to be a balancing act, definitely, between people who need minutes and the kids as well, and various others. So make sure you put your votes in for that. I think we've got the who's going to be in goal and the formation up at the moment. So the rest will be going up later on tonight. Hammers headlines tonight. Couple of transfer rumours, couple of ins, couple of outs. So make sure you check that out as well this week, as well as all the other stuff for the FCSB game, for the Crystal Palace game as well at the weekend. We should have Trevor Morley on, hopefully, if his internet works, doing a live Q&A. So keep an eye out for that. Probably Wednesday night. What a shock. We played like snails in the first half. And Alan, hope you're well. Evening, everyone. Weather in Hornchurch? Nice. Sunny. A few clouds. A few serious clouds, I believe they're called. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice and sunny. Anthony Freeman, hope you're well. 2 wins lead against Palace. Whether we get them is another thing. Pete, we've got 4 games left to play, haven't we? We've got the Bucharest game, we've got Palace, we've got Blackburn, and we've got Leicester. I actually think the Blackburn game is going to be the trickiest game ever, because Blackburn are flying in the Championship, and we'll be putting a second string out, I'd imagine, for that. So having played the Sunday, Wednesday for the Blackburn game, and then the following Saturday, and then that Saturday for the Leicester game, I think it's going to be tough. Sam Hope Naif plays. I think he'll be playing in both this Thursday, and I think he'll be playing for the Blackburn game as well. And Simon, hope you're big bad DJ Russ indeed. Unlucky yesterday. I don't think we're going to throw the Blackburn game at all, Pete. 'Cause if anything, the Carabao Cup is the easiest way to get into Europe, in all honesty, because all you need is the game. I think you need to win 6 games, and you're 6 games, I think, and you're in Europe. Whereas at the moment, if we still have to win all of our games, we've still got the 16s, the quarters, got 16s, the quarters, the semis, and the final. 7 games. Hi, Russ. I have to say it's a bit worrying. We go on Scamacca. What's your view on Scamacca coming off and suddenly a change of tactics? Some people say Haller Mark 2. I don't think so at all, David. I think the trouble with Scamacca is, and I've put him in the in my thumbnail, it's him. He needs a partner, whether it's a 10 or as a striker. So when he was playing for Sassuolo, it was him and Raspadori. Raspadori would drop off and play as a 10. Paqueta is that player. And it's no surprising that Scamacca's goals have dried up, really, and his creativity has dried up, because he hasn't got that linchpin. He hasn't got that, player who's playing between the midfield. Paqueta joins that midfield and that striker up. If we're still missing him, then we need to put Benny in that 10 role or someone, because he needs some support. He hasn't got some support. Do not think it's Haller Mark II at all. I am at the moment. Mrs. Bunn's out doing Pilates, and Flo, it's inset day. Hi Lee, Russ, we won't win anything under Moyes. We all know it. Yeah. We'll be playing Randolph probably in the ECL, possibly. Don't listen to the people. Watch the game with your eyes. Where's Wally? Indeed. The thing is, we now have the amount of players to rotate the club. It's okay. Scott, get fringe players match squad. You're totally right. And that's it. That's it. The fact is we have the ability. So in essence, it's 2 games, 2 Premier League games, 2 cup games, really, isn't it, for either squad? With Paqueta said he was fine a couple of weeks ago, yet Moyes won't play him. Well, if he said he was out for 2 weeks, which means he would be back this week. He won't play Thursday, but I imagine if he's back, he'll be back in time for the Palace game. I'm sure Moyes will be giving an update on that. Feel sorry for the younger hammers who haven't seen us win anything. Pete, that's me. I constitute one of being one of the younger hammers. And I mean, looking at the game in isolation, we were the second, and we could have easily walked away again. And I feel like a broken record at times saying how we could have walked away with something, but we could have again. Yeah, we could have. I mean, talking about being unlucky. If we're talking about being unlucky, West Ham, the 2-1 loss to Chelsea. I'm just looking at a few of the top 6, greedy 6 games. Obviously, we had the VAR call. We should have counted. We should have got at least a point away at Stamford Bridge. Obviously, Liverpool recently, we had the penalty miss. We finished the game from Anfield with 46% possession. Easily could have got the winner if we equalise that. And Man United last night as well. We had almost 50% possession at Man United. We had 5 shots on target, most of them in the last 15 minutes. I think regardless whether Antonio was playing or Scamacca was playing up front, that last 15 minutes they had their backs to the wall. But when does it stop being unlucky? When do we start converting this luck? That's a slight sort of, there's plenty of positives, but there's got to be we haven't been very lucky at all this year. Whereas maybe last time we were a bit more luck than maybe skill last couple of seasons. Maybe the luck's run out a little bit. I think that's what's for me the big issue at the moment. We were unlucky though. We have to play Moyes for us being unlucky because it's his tactics at the end of the day. But then again, Epic, I'm very much all those games we lost the odd goal. Anyway, 2-1, 1-0, 1-0. It's not like we're getting trouts 4-5-0, which traditionally we used to do against the greedy 6. It's just that luck, and it's not Moyes' fault that we can't score. We had the shots, we had the opportunities. Bowen missed a penalty against Liverpool. He swung and missed right at the end of the game yesterday. Deck had a good shot and it was saved by De Gea. It's not Moyes'. It's not Moyes' problem. Moyes isn't deliberately going out there and saying, "Don't score. Make sure you don't score today." I don't know. All right, enjoyed game. Pity we came up late as usual. He was world class. He was very, very good. Was scared to be their players. Can't blame Scamacca when we play so negatively. Constantly back passing. Turned the game off after watching Bowen receive the ball. Annoyed at the lino stopping Deck saying the ball was out when it was definitely wasn't. Plus number 4 does it once in his books. Totally right. Benrahma good again. Bowen gone missing at times. Used up a lucky at Fulham and Bournemouth. Will we come out slowly against Palace? Who knows? Get Paul McKenna in. That's a good shout. Moyes' tactics not making us unlucky. You can say that Moyes setting him up mentally, maybe, possibly. Sounds a lot like him. We had. I think Pac-Man makes a difference, huge difference. He's a 50 million pound player. We've got a 50 million pound player not playing. So hopefully, when he's back, we'll see. We are attacking far too late. Do it earlier. It is Timothy, but actually, I know what you mean. I understand totally. The shackles were 15 minutes, but we're 1-0 down, and that's his game plan. Moyes' game plan is keeping it tight until the last few minutes, and then going for it. He did against Liverpool as well, and Liverpool got worried and took off their sort of attacking players and brought on the workman-like players. Man United did it again yesterday with McTominay coming on, and various others. 2 games Liverpool. We're not stopping crosses coming into the box. There's a problem. Yeah, I think it was a poor goal to concede defensively. but the comparisons at time is a lazy one. Why don't they sub? Why didn't they? I don't know. Fabianski clearly was injured, but then I didn't say he was at fault for the goal either. I thought the defence was. Who sits out? Paqueta starts. Downs. I think. I don't. I know he won't. I don't want him to on Soucek. I think it will be Downs. Leeds and Forest beat Liverpool by being more positive. Forest was at home. Leeds, yeah, I grant you that one. Moyes needs to let their team players express themselves more. Yeah, definitely. But at home last year, we turned up. We beat Chelsea. We beat Liverpool. We drew Man City at home. We knocked out Man City in the cup at home. It's away. We've always been the issue. I don't think it's. But I'm not saying it's a big dig. But if we're going to use a big bloke up top, we need better service. Totally right. Funny, we got more crots in when Mac gets subbed, just like Villa. Fred hit the post. Don't forget, very true. Listening to Rogers in the City Post, he said exactly the same thing. We played well. It's just harder to take at your club. Landed awkwardly and hurt his ankle, I believe. Well, I think it was his head for the header. We've got 6'5" beast up front. Why do we resist an inverted strikers all the time? What about Bowen sitting out, Russ? About time. I don't think he will, mate. Don't think he will, because that means change it all round, and he won't. He won't, because he wants Bowen to get on that plane for Qatar, doesn't he? Really? Right. Let's do the ratings. As always, I give you the ratings, and you'll disagree with them, and we'll have a jolly good time. So let's start with Fabianski. As we said, went off at half time, but obviously kept 2 clean sheets this season so far, this month. Obviously, the Wolves game, Bournemouth game, a couple of good saves early on to deny Rashford. I think one Ronaldo as well. Shortly after Rashford's thumping header, he did land awkwardly. That sort of clearance from the sort of the Christian Eriksen header. Couldn't do anything, I don't think, with the Rashford header. Obviously, came on for half time, but kept us in the game, I think, to be honest. It'd be interesting to see what happens with him if he's maybe concussed. Maybe if that means concussed, then surely he will not be fit for the Palace game, which means Areola will be starting, which means Thursday I'd imagine you see Randolph or Heggie getting a game possibly. Let's see what we got. The comments numbers. We've got 7, 7, 6. Port of Cup Dean say 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Could have saved Rashford header. I don't think so, mate. I don't think as much. I think it was a bullet header, and he shouldn't have got to him basically in the first place. Would have made the save. I very much doubt he wasn't. He went past him on his hand. It wasn't a height thing. He went like that, but. Each their own. 6, 6, 7. Fabs was concussion. Yep, I think so. Rusty B gave him a 7. I thought he played very well. He kept us in the game for sure. Let's move on like Donkey Kong. Let's talk about Kira. Obviously, a return with Dawson in the centre back positions. Saw Kira move back to the right back, which is the position we all prefer him, to be honest. He started the last 3 Premier League games there. He attacked well, I thought, early on. There was an interception. He started a move that sort of led to Benrahma break, which he couldn't finish. When he got forward, he looked good. Linked up well with Bowen, I thought. And then he found himself stood under the ball when Rashford came through for the header. And actually, earlier on, it's the same thing. He let the back post guy run at him as well. On the ball, not a lot to fault, but was beaten far too easily, and booked later on as well for a foul on Rashford. He got beaten far too easily for a German international, German defender. It was a relatively textbook. I was disappointed in him, to be honest. 6, 6, played well generally. 7, 6, apart from the goal, blaming him fully. 7.2, you know there's no half points in this all point games. Has some good moments, but fell asleep for the goal. 6, 6, 6, needs to be made more aware. I actually was similar to Bill. I actually gave him a 5 because it was a couple of times. And primarily you're a defender. Your first job is to defend. The attacking side is secondary, but you need to defend. And he didn't defend well, in my opinion, which is a bit tough from Rusty B for once. Tough but fair, maybe? I don't know. Let's talk about Kurt Zouma. Obviously scored that relatively controversial goal last week, the Bournemouth game. Partly Dawson back in the back four. So in essence, our back line was probably our back four was pretty much our best back four available. I think obviously you'll get Aged coming in for Dawson and Zuma, but going back to the right hand side, in my opinion. I thought he was a bit harsh. I know, but sometimes you've got to be cool to be kind to him. They obviously him and Dawson were kept quite busy for most of the game, but I thought he hardly put a foot wrong, particularly before half time. Countless interceptions, countless last second in the box, just putting his body in the line. What a big thing, he was bringing the ball a bit more forward as well, which was quite nice to see. And then later on, caused a great save off De Gea right at the end with a couple of minutes left. I thought it was one of his best games he's played for us. I thought he was very strong. 8. I know I'm a bit harsh, as me. 7. Don't know whether he drops out or Zuma drops out or Dawson. I think Dawson drops out. 8, 7, 7. Man of the match, world class. 9, 8, 8 outstanding. Considering they have up front, indeed, beast mode. 8 also fouled. Should have had a pen. Now coming out with a ball. There's no half points this game. You know that, Tim. 8. Russie B gave him a 8 and man of the match. He was my man of the match. I thought he was exceptional yesterday. Let's talk about his partner, Ballon, back in the centre of defence, partnering Zuma after a sort of an unusual sort of double dead leg injury that kept him out for the last few games. We missed him. Some of his passing was a bit wayward to start off with. He was finding his range, but put a shift in, kept the shackles, tried to stop Ronaldo, Rashford, Ericsson and co. Like Zuma, he was keen to bring the ball forward again, unable to get the end of a couple of crosses at the back post. Saw a shot from range go over in the second half, which is quite, in fact, had got in or made a save, would have been quite impressive. But he just brings a reassurance to the defence, I think Dawson does. Obviously not the quickest, a couple of times where there's an overlap and he got beaten for pace, but we know that's not his bag. But I thought he was quite strong. 6, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6, 7, 7. Couple of rusty passes, both were very, very good. Russie B also gave him a 7. Thought it's good to see Ballon back. And obviously Hill won't play on Thursday, so he'll be fresh for the Palace game. Mr. Cresswell had obviously a rest against Silkeborg, wasn't in the squad, wasn't on the starting lineup at all. I thought his side, most of the traffic came down. He was targeted, I think. Ericsson and Bruno Fernandes linking up really well on that left hand, on their right hand side, so our left hand side. Too easy to get the cross in for the goal as well. But attacked well, got crosses in. Best of the bunch was the Zuma header late on. Okay game for Cresswell, but again, we know he's coming to the end of his left back usage, in all honesty. I just thought it was an okay game for him. Water Cresswell, very good. 5, 6. I thought he still, the crossing was a bit better. Corners were a bit better, I think, because you had Dawson as a target man as well, which was quite good. 6, actually his first performance. Yeah, you're totally right. Probably was. He's been playing really well, but he's been playing well in the back three type role. So, anonymous 6. Yes, they poor. My opinion, crossing wasn't good enough. A 5 worse than Kira for me. I didn't think so. Funny, isn't it? It's funny opinions. 6. I actually gave him a 6 as well. I thought Kira, because he was the reason. Yes, the cross. Chris should have got the cross away for the goal, but Kira should definitely have tracked that runner. That was a bigger mistake to me. Let's talk about Declan. Mr. Rice, obviously, I think in the first half he was good, carrying the ball a lot more in possession. He could do that with Downs and Soucek there. There was one counter-attack which was ruined when the ball was wrongly judged to be out of play, as we said, which Ludden said, which could have been. Excellent in the second half, I thought. Really sort of dictated play well, so much so that they brought on McTominay to shore up that midfield because we were dominating that midfield, which is a good crosses. Great, last-minute effort, which made De Gea full stretch, put off a really good save. Good game, ran the midfield, but when we should have done because we had the extra player in midfield. And obviously in front of Mr. Southgate as well. Not too bad. 7, 8, 8, 7. Still needs to motivate the others around there a bit more. It's something I was talking about with some of the other guys on Facebook, on WhatsApp yesterday. Being a team captain and being a club captain is very different. He's a very good team captain, but I don't know about the club captain bit at the moment. And it's no slight on him. He's a young lad, so it's a role he has to develop. He has to develop into. Martin Noble has had many years and many captains to be tutored under. And I think there's just that niche bit of leadership we need off the pitch more than anything. 7 for a packet, very good. 8, best midfielder on the pitch. 8, another captain's knock, worked hard. 8, 9, 8. Rusty B actually gave him a 7. I think if he'd scored at the end, it would have been obviously an 8, but I gave him a 7. Let's talk about potato salad. Obviously, he's in recent weeks, I think he's improved. His defensive work's improved a lot. And, if you look at his stats, he's among the best players for tackles and interceptions outside the big six. First half was very poor, I think. I think any time he misplaces a pass, people go, actually, I think everyone was misplacing passes in that first half. Not enough pace in the ball at all. With sort of the hosts midfield getting too much joy against him a little bit. Second half, a lot better. Some more key tackles, some good blocks. He had a deflective shot over the bar. But it's just, he's getting better. 5, 6 needs to be dropped. Always getting picked and needs a reality check. 6, seriously, leave him off the pitch now. Slows us down, can't pass, and clumsy. 6 needs Rice and Downs to make up errors. 5, I actually gave him a 6. I gave him a 6. Consistently poor, sadly. I know what you mean, David. It's frustrating, isn't it? Because there's a good player there. But as I said before, I think the trouble is because his goals were such a big factor in his early stint at West Ham, we were almost like blind to the fact of what else he brings to the game. And, I think when his goals dry up, you start analysing other parts of his game. And he's not the creative player. He's a blocker. And that's fine, but play as a blocker. Do you know what I mean? Let's talk about Downs. Obviously, gets his place in the starting 11 with Paqueta, still sidelined. Don't know what's happening with that. It's his third straight Premier League start in a row, sort of makeshift number 10, but it was sort of a weird position. I thought he kept the ball well, showed good movement going forward as he always does. Asks for the ball, wants the ball. Also lacks sort of that cutting. Because he's not a number 10 naturally. Number 10 needs to put these sort of defense splitting passes through, which you don't get. And I think that's one of the reasons why Scamacca is playing the way he is at the moment, because I think Paqueta's not there. He's not feeding off Paqueta. He didn't do a lot wrong, to be honest. Again, there's sort of a competent game from him. 6, unusual position. 6, he always tries hard, doesn't he, in that position? No, he's not a Paqueta, but he's doing the best as he can, isn't he? Worked hard. 6. Hi, Kim, thank you for your messages. 6, playing with number 10 is just wrong. It is. But it's not really playing as a 10. He's playing as, he's almost dropping back into a midfield 3 and dominating the midfield. But yeah, I thought he did well for his debut. It's not his debut. He's played 3 games. Please, Moy, stop playing him in number 10. Only doing it to keep Soucek in the team, quite possibly. And I think when you get Paqueta back in the side, I think he's likely to not get as much game time. Unfortunately, 6 game 6, adequate game. as you said, in a position which wasn't his usual one. Bowen back in the starting lineup after missing the midweek game with a minor ankle injury, late fitness test by all accounts, quiet first half. Shaw had him in his pocket for most of the first half, I think. There's only one real chance he had, which was flagged offside. Better in the second half. There was a couple of free kicks which he should have got for getting the better of Maguire. Neither were given. Surprise, surprise, being at Old Trafford. Came close to an equaliser late on. Sort of scuffed the shot right at the end. We need more Bowen. We need more Bowen. It's frustrating. Right, Russ, just not much, just going through the game. Says a lot about Lanzini. Well, we'll talk about Lanzini at Hammers Headlines tonight, so keep an eye for that. Bowen in second gear. 6, 5, 5, 5. Can't decide 6 or 7. 6, 4. Wow. Can't do anything just didn't do anything for me. Not smashing. Great. Super. Good shout, Pete. 6. I've gone for a 6. And a 6 for David as well. Frustrating 6, I think. Next 2 league games, only 6 points would do. I agree. Minimum 4, in my opinion. Bloody awful. Rest of them put Ant there for a game or 2. It's not going to happen. We know how long it's not going to happen. Benrahma, busy week for him. 3 games in 6 days. Started on the left wing. The only players who started to start against Bournemouth, Silkeborg, and Man United. So that's again shows faith in Moyes, but also shows the fact that we haven't got bloody Cornet in the side. If we were ever going to score, it's going to come from Benrahma. I thought he looked lively. Beautiful pirouette around Casemiro in the first half, which is no mean feat. Although he was more marked, particularly second half. He was obviously they did a job on him. They knew he was the creative outlet, so they did a job on him. Constant threat. He forced De Gea into a good save in the second half, I think it was. Good game, but again, that final ball, don't we do it at times, in my opinion. What we got? 6, 7. Oh, Paul's back. Hey, Paul, you all right? Going down with Clan Moyes, get out of them Muppets. Hope you're well, Paul. Nice to see you, mate. 6, 8. Best second player for us. Yep, indeed. They put 3 in him. Indeed. 7, 7, 7, 8, 6, 6 or 7. Lively from the off. Some pieces of a main. Yep, we got 4 points. I reckon he may. If we get 4 points, I reckon he may get the chop. Possibly. We'll see. 8, 7, 8, 7. Rusty B gave him a 6 because second half he was man marks out of the game, to be honest. But first half was good. Second half wasn't so great. Let's move on. Let's talk about Scamacca. Obviously, he hasn't scored recently. Hardly had a kick in the first half, in all honesty. Weren't getting the ball up to him. He did create a couple of chances for Benrahma, sort of in terms of the counter attack, but didn't really get much for looking. Had one half chance shortly after the second half, and Martinez got in the way of him, and he'd already been booked as well. So I think Moyes, because people were moaning about him, I think Moyes took him off so he didn't get sent off. Because all it would take is one more foul, and he probably would have been sent off. Not that anything. I think it might have been. I wouldn't say necessarily anything was nasty, but I think he was on the way to being sent off. So I think it was wise to do that. 13 games in, does Moyes know his best 11? I think he knows it, but they're not fit. I think that's the trouble, usual suspect. I think he knows his best 11, but they're never all bloody fit at the same time, unfortunately. 6, 6, no service, totally right. 6. 5, not his faults. 5, no service, frustrating, hardly any support. Can't do much, and these players around him. You're totally right. Was booked, but I think but then he just had the second. He'd got booked, and then he had the thing on Martinez with a high boot, and I think Moore was like, right, because we need him. So if he gets sent off, that's him out for the pallet. Is it 1 game suspension? So he'd be out for the pallet. There's only 2 games left of the Premier League, so you want to keep him fresh. So I think it was wise to do that. Nearly put Benny through. Yep, just died indeed. That's something yesterday, like the passing just wasn't on point. It wasn't like to feet. It wasn't fast. It was, I don't know whether they had what with the pitch or something. I'm not blaming the pitch, but it just wasn't getting to people's feet. Got frustrated due to lack of finishing. I think that's exactly what it was. Not for Moyes, MOT. 6, 5. Rusty B gave him a 6. As you said, really tricky with no service. Really tricky. Let's scoot over the subs quickly. Areola, obviously, second half performance. Replaced Fabianski at half time. Never easy for goalkeepers to make a sub. Did do a little wrong. Some good saves. Positioned himself well, as always. Also came up for the corner at the end of the game, which I love to see. I thought he played well. I'm just going to zoom through these a little bit. I gave Areola 7. Antonio, obviously there was a chorus of boos when he came on, and Scamacca came off, but I can understand Moyes' reckoning behind that. Probably one of his best substitute performances recent games. Got on, basically stood up next to Martinez, and came close twice. As back post, I thought Darlow was really strong defensively for them yesterday. There was a shot outside the box he did, which took the hair a bit by surprise. I thought he did quite well. So I gave Antonio a 6. I thought he played okay. 6, 7, 7. Area 7, 6, 5. Don't do much else. Yeah. Fair enough. Point to the ref, possibly. Agree, best sub performance, and that's how you need to use it, Antonio. You can't, he'll be starting on Thursday probably. Although I don't know if they'll risk him, to be honest. Whether they'll play one of the kids, whether Divin Mbaha, he might get a run out. Who knows? And lastly, Fornals came on for Downs again. Fornals he's a better game he's played recently. Quite direct, lots of energy is what he brings. Created a chance right at the end for Bowen, and he's passed back to the edge of the penalty area, but unfortunately couldn't make it count. Unfortunately, as always, seemed to like with new players, very trying to divert Moyes' issues. Maybe. 8 and 8, 6. I mean, I gave him a 6. I thought he did okay. What we got here? Peeps used to say is a super sub. I mean, don't forget every year we've had a super sub. Bowen was it a couple of seasons ago. Then you had then Benny was last year was our super sub. So this year it's going to be probably Fornals or an Antonio. Looking at much better. I agree. 6, 6, 7, 7, 6. Yeah, it's about right. All right then, peeps. Well, there we go. There is. Let's dust ourselves off as we usually do and try again. We've got Stenar Bucharest, FCSB on Thursday. We've got Palace on Sunday, and we've got Blackburn on the Wednesday, and then we've got Leicester on the Saturday. Could we get 4 wins? 4 wins before the World Cup? Who knows? Committed 1 foul and got booked. Man, yeah, totally, David. You play the ref, unfortunately. You always do. I never do Moyes, but we got 5. I never really picked the manager. Also, I think people criticise the fact we played Downs in there, but realistically, what are you going to do? I know you could put Antonio in there, but he's not going to. You could have put Fornals in at the left and put Benny at a 10. You could have done that. I think seeing Agard and how well Agard has played that Thursday, I think you can see, for me, and I am a glass half filled type guy, as you can see the shoots. I honestly can. I think, again, not only in terms of what he brings, but his passing and play, but the way he passes naturally forward, starts attacks from the back. I think Kira on the right. I think Igej. You've got, when Paqueta's back in Cornet, we've got, we're not a million miles away. We're not a million miles away, mate. We're getting there. Not a million miles away. Be interesting to see what's going to happen. I think post World Cup, no one knows what's going to happen. So it's about, I think you're going to get, the big teams. Most of their squad are going to be out in the World Cup. I know we've seen the shoots, but we don't score. Pete, we haven't scored for 8. I mean, even when we were in the good times, a couple of, last season before last, we should have scored a lot more. But we had what's the word? We had the luck. I think a lot of it is luck, and you make your own luck, and we just haven't had it. When you come out of Man United, come from Old Trafford, 48% possession, something like 40% possession at Anfield as well. It's not like we're getting steamrolled. It's just the odd goal. And it's so frustrating because I can see, if we'd got a draw at Liverpool and say the Chelsea game, we'd got a draw, maybe even nick the Liverpool game, in all honesty. A draw, you could have had a draw at Man United. Was that another 3 to 5 points? People look so different. Boys turning to go back into Haller, getting all that attack. It's taking off, such a waste. I don't think. I know what you mean, Mark, but I don't. Scamacca just needs what's name service, and he hasn't got it at the moment. He needs that 10. He needs a 10. When does he drop Soucek? Then maybe we have a team. He won't do. It's frustrating because Scamacca, you can see what a good player he is. You can see what skill he has, and he's just been bereft of any. And because that is having to come deep to get the ball, which is not where you want him. You want him up there, and you want Paqueta to give him the ball. So, anyway, as I said, check out Hammer's headlines tonight. There's a few transfer rumours. It's getting close to January, so it's transfer rumour days. Coulda, woulda. That should be the thing to our DVD, end of season DVD. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. We'll have all the stuff getting ready for FCSB. Be good to see a good performance on Thursday. A good win, even with a second string side, a youthful side, that could really bring some momentum coming into the last few games of the season, because we've got a busy 6 days. Friday, you got Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, all at home. 3 home games to see off this chunk of the season before the World Cup. So it's going to be really interesting, I think. It's Antonio makes his own goals, so should Scamacca. I think Scamacca tries, but I think, to be honest, I think Scamacca is a team player. Antonio, I just think, puts his head down and runs sometimes, and a lot more in judgment with him sometimes. I think, I'm very much in the Scamacca camp. I think Antonio loses the ball far too much for my liking as well, but it is. I think Scamacca can make his own goals, but I think the trouble is, it's almost like he wants to bring people in. I think he needs to be a bit more greedy, in all honesty. Maybe he needs to be a bit more like Antonio and just put his head down and run, because he's always looking to try and bring people in. But anyway, if you liked it, give it a comment, like, share, all that type of stuff. Hopefully this week we'll have Trevor Morley on doing a live Q&A, probably Wednesday night, so keep an eye out for that. Be good fun. And until next time, my friends, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay positive, keep the faith, and see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.
You know how. Nothing ever stays the same. Once you let it change. It's like a family tree. Part of you and part